Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is a Q&A episode, so let's actually get started, shall we? So, Nicholas, you got a couple questions for me. So, first one, how old is Scotty the T-Rex compared to Sue? Because I have heard that Scotty is 28 over 30 years old to over 30 years old, and I have heard that Scotty is 27 years old. Well, it all depends on who you actually ask. Because see, Scotty is presumably the largest T-Rex that we know of in terms of like a nearly complete specimen. It's the largest complete in terms of complete largest Tyrannosaurus Rex that we know of in the fossil record. You know, even though we know about like that there's a possible chance that Goliath or even the B-Rex or even E.D. Cope could be larger than Scotty, but even though those are not fully complete specimens. But anyway, Scotty, from when it was announced that Scotty was the largest Tyrannosaurus Rex in the fossil record, it was presumed to actually have lived probably like at 30, like at 29 or 30 years old. Now, there has been some debates of some criticisms of the paper in terms of like how old really Scotty is when it died. But from now on, let's just call it like say in the late 20s. Let's call it in the late 20s. It can be like 28, could be 29, or even it probably did reach 30. Because the T-Rex that we know of that is actually older than Scotty and Sue is Trix. Trix is the oldest Tyrannosaurus Rex in terms of like its age when it died. And that Rex lived over 30 years old. And so I would say like Scotty and Sue are pretty close to the same age, or otherwise maybe Scotty's just a tad bit year older. But Sue died when she was 28. When she was 28 years old. But yeah, that's a really good question there, Nick. Your next one. What do you think about the Dreadnoughtus and the Iguanodon designs of Jurassic World Dominion, and how scientifically accurate are they? Well, thing is, I haven't watched Dominion in probably since it came out in theaters a few years ago, and so when I looked at the prologue, because look, Dreadnoughtus in that film, it's okay. I can say it's okay. Iguanodon, I would probably say it does lack like a little bit more like musculature or beefiness, robustness, than its like accurate depiction that we see in like some certain paleo art and also in recent studies. Is that I would say that the Iguanodon does have some issues when it comes to the Dominion prologue. Dreadnoughtus, like, we only get to see Dreadnoughtus for a little bit. We don't get to see it too much. And, like, I thought it was fine. I think it probably might have been oversized, but it's fine. But I think the head was probably all wrong. The head was probably all wrong because it almost looked like a little bit too much like a Diplodocid than, say, a Titanosaur. But, yeah, I mean, like, that's the whole thing with, like, that is that the prologue does show some dinosaurs, but it's a mixed bag of dinosaurs that you're seeing in that, and a lot of those dinosaurs never lived at the same time. When you look at in terms of scientific basis, because they all put a bunch of dinosaurs in the late Cretaceous period, even dinosaurs that have never met each other, which is crazy. You know, that's why Dominion is considered to be the worst of the Jurassic films. And so, yeah, like, I probably would say, like, Dreadnoughtus is fine. Iguanodon does have problems. But like, say, the head design is not too bad. But its body size is left to be desired. That I can say. All right, Luke, your questions. Who would win, Rhizodus or Rhizidus or a Nile crocodile? So these two animals, so like Rhizodus is an ancient fish. I believe it lived in the Devonian or the Carboniferous. It was one of those times. It's one of the largest fish in its time. It was a freshwater fish. And then you got a Nile crocodile. And of course, these two animals never met each other, because Nile crocodile, it's in the present day, whereas Rhodopus rositus lived like back in the Devonian or the Carboniferous. And so these two animals are similar in size in terms of length. It can be very evenly matched. You can make the case that it's going to be evenly matched because of the fact is that both of these animals would definitely do a lot of damage to each other, but the one thing that the crocodile does have an advantage of is armor. It has the bony scutes, or those osteoderms in its skin, basically on the top part of the animal, and so it's going to be very difficult to actually make a really good bite on Nile crocodile by Rhodopus. And so Rhodopus might get in a bite, but it might actually get a really good bite on the underbelly, not really on, like, say, the top part of the Nile crocodile. Nile crocodile does also have another advantage, and that is bite force. Bite force is going to be the key here. I'd probably say that the Nile crocodile might have an advantage in this one, but it can go either way. It can go either way. But I still would say 51% Nile crocodile and 49% Rhodopus. So like Rhodopus could actually win like probably close to half the time, whereas the Nile crocodile would probably win majority of the time, but it could still be determined. All right, your next question. Would bringing back prehistoric creatures really be a good idea? Wouldn't they be seen as invasive species? Well, if you're only talking about, like, say, if we're bringing back animals that were from one continent, and in terms of that their ecosystem, they need that type of like animal in order for the ecosystem to possibly survive a little bit longer. But then if you take that animal and put it, like, say, let's say you took the thylacine and put it into, like, say, common day United States, like Western United States, like, say, in the Rocky Mountains, it's not going to survive. Like, mainly it's because, well, one, the mountain lions and the wolves are going to outsmart it and outdo it for prey capture, for predation. Because since that the thylacine is a marsupial, and so it's not going to survive very long in North America. But if you give it like an environment that is almost very similar to, like, say, Australia or Tasmania or southern parts of Australia, it could actually be considered an invasive species. But, like, say, I would say bringing back the thylacine is probably a really good idea, because since that, like, there's not really that much of a natural predator, like a big natural predator in, like, southern Australia or even Tasmania. Tasmania is just a state of Australia; it's an island, and like that can actually work because that type of area needs, like, that type of predator in order to actually, like, limit the domesticated animals that are actually out there, like, you know, the sheep and also the goats, and even control the, like, marsupial population, that sort of thing. You know, because that does need to happen. But, like, would we call it an invasive species? Slightly, but not quite. Because, like, if we're really bringing back, like, animals that were thriving in their environment from, like, the past, like, it should be okay. It's just that, like how the environment keeps changing now, is that, like, it could probably be a problem for that animal later down the line, because, you know, climate change is an actual thing, and it is it's going to be a problem for that animal to actually survive, because, like, with, like, temperatures rising, you do wonder if, like say, the thylacine could survive in today's world. But you never know. But would we call it an invasive species? I don't know. But, like, if we're, like, say, if we're bringing back the woolly mammoth, like, that could be considered as an invasive species, because that thing has been extinct for thousands of years, and, like, where would you put it? Like Siberia is probably the best place for it. But it's probably more likely going to be considered an invasive species. But is it a good idea? Yes and no. Yes and no. It all depends. But Colossal just dropped the ball when it comes to the dire wolf thing. They dropped the ball. Their advertising was so bad. It was so bad. That was really, really bad. All right, Benjamin, your questions. Are the teeth of Appalachiosaurus designed for slicing or crushing bone? More likely slicing. They're not designed. They're not totally like later Tyrannosaur teeth, like Zoochentyrannus, Tarbosaurus, Tyrannosaurus macroensis, or Tyrannosaurus rex, or Daspletosaurus. They're not designed for that. Because since that Appalachiosaurus is a little bit more on the medium-sized Tyrannosaur spectrum, it is not designed for crushing bone. Could they actually still have the jaw power to be able to bite at bone? Absolutely, but not totally go through it. But it will create gouges in the bone, just not designed to crush. Why do you think Irritator would win against Dryptosaurus? In terms of the vet, because I might have explained this when somebody asked me this question, was that Irritator's larger. Irritator is larger. Irritator is a larger dinosaur than Dryptosaurus. Dryptosaurus is going to have a harder time against a larger theropod dinosaur. And so when you have a medium-sized theropod dinosaur going up against, say, medium to large theropod dinosaur, that thing's not going to mess with it. Think about this. Most predators do not want to fight each other because they don't want to get injured. They don't want to get injured because the thing is, if they fought each other, it's more likely they're going to get injured and then they can't fight and they can't hunt. That's mostly how it's going to be. And so I would say Irritator because, one, it's got the longer reach, and also the better weaponry in terms of the large hand claws of typical of a Spinosaur and all that. But Dryptosaurus is going to have speed and agility, but it's not going to have the best jaw power compared to some Spinosaurs. But Dryptosaurus is an early Tyrannosauroidea. It is a Tyrannosauroidea type of dinosaur, a Tyrannosaur relative, and so it can do some damage, but not much to Irritator. Was Arrhinoceratops that appeared in Walking with Dinosaurs 2025 supposed to be Eotriceratops? No. Because Eotriceratops only lived around 70 to 69 million years ago. Whereas Arrhinoceratops lived 72 to 71 million years ago. And mostly found in Alberta. And so Eotriceratops is mostly found in the United States. And we only know a few specimens of Eotriceratops, and Arrhinoceratops is only known for a few specimens as well, but it's mostly from Alberta. And so that's the only difference. And also the frill is more on the elongated side compared to Eotriceratops. So there you go. Arrhinoceratops is an actual dinosaur. It's just that what you're looking at is that Eotriceratops and Arrhinoceratops may look similar. The only thing that they're similar is basically they're Chasmosaurians and Ceratopsians. That's it. They're not really going to be the same species. They don't look that similar. And could Eutyrannus and Lythornax easily win against Carnotaurus? This is a good one. So Carnotaurus is the largest abelosaurid that we know of. And since it's from South America and Eutyrannus is from Asia, Lythornax is from North America, I would probably say that if Eutyrannus and Lythornax had a chance against Carnotaurus, they probably could. They have to go for the legs. Because first things first, Carnotaurus is going to have greater speed compared to these dinosaurs. Because what the latest evidence now is that Carnotaurus is a speedster. That's saying something. Because of the fact is how long the legs are of Carnotaurus and also how large the tail muscles are on Carnotaurus. This thing actually is able to go at a pretty good burst of speed, between probably around 25 miles an hour, whereas like Lythornax could get there. It could get to 25 miles an hour, but it's more likely going to be between 20 and 25 miles an hour. Tyrannus is probably going to be on the same area as well, but I would probably say this is pretty even, almost evenly matched. It's just that Lythornax is probably going to have the better biting power compared to the other dinos, compared to the other two. So yeah, I'd probably say that like if Tyrannus and Lythornax go for the legs of Carnotaurus, they have a chance, but also can make the case is that Lythornax and Tyrannus had better senses, better vision, better senses of smell, and better hearing compared to Carnotaurus. Even though Carnotaurus still has good senses of smell and has decent vision, has pretty good vision for an Appalachiosaurus, and pretty decent hearing as well, it's not as as advanced to a Tyrannosaur. And so it could be evenly matched. It could be very evenly matched. Very evenly matched. It's just that it's probably size is gonna determine this one too. Carnotaurus is more likely gonna have a much better chance. All right, Alex, your question. Do you think that there needs to be a season 3 of Prehistoric Planet, and do you think that Dinosaur Empire will be released in the near future? If I do think there could be a season 3 of Prehistoric Planet, I think there's a possible chance. I think there is a possible chance because since that the BBC did a much better job with that one than the Walking with Dinosaurs, the new Walking with Dinosaurs, considering that they only use the name Walking with Dinosaurs due to nostalgia, and it's not technically Walking with Dinosaurs. It's not even a true reboot of Walking with Dinosaurs. It's basically like they just reimagined it in a way, even though that's kind of similar to reboot, but it's basically a reimagining and also taking some inspiration from other documentaries and try to put it into Walking with Dinosaurs when clearly it's not the same. You're not really walking with the dinosaurs. The newest Walking with Dinosaurs. It's not as good as the original. But anyway, Prehistoric Planet felt more like the actual Walking with Dinosaurs. And the fact is that if there would be a season 3, they need to go further away from the late Cretaceous of 75 to 66 million years ago. They need to get away from that. They need to get away from that. I understand that people just want to see the big name dinosaurs, like Triceratops, Appalachiosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, some of the well-known names of Tyrannosaurs like pterosaurs, say Hetzegopteryx, Quetzalcoatlus, and you look at say Majungasaurus and a few other types of marine reptiles like mosasaurs and all that, but they need to go further back. Go to the Cretaceous of say from 145 to 76 million years ago, and also go to the Jurassic and even go to the early dinosaurs of the Triassic. Do that. And even try to venture into outside of the Mesozoic too. Go outside the Mesozoic. Go to the the Paleozoic or even the Cenozoic, get into those. So that way people know those types of prehistoric creatures. But could Dinosaur Empire actually be released in the near future? Since that there has been announced that they did get the funding to be able to make it, it's a possibility, but it might take a few more years to get there. I would not say it's gonna happen next year, because that's gonna take time. Filming's gonna take time. Doing say if they're gonna do practical effects, they need to get those out of the way and then the CGI stuff has to come in, after that. And so it's about filming, and then you got to you have to do like the CGI parts, and also what type of direction do you want to go? Do you want to go like the Prehistoric Planet or the original Walking with Dinosaurs type of format, or do you go with like, say, a different type of style, where like it's not similar to those, but try to do something that is like say it feels like it, but it's not, that sort of thing. But like, who knows? I'm hoping more for a Prehistoric Planet Season 3, and since that Apple carries the budget mostly for those for the 2 seasons, because they got a much bigger budget they gave BBC a much bigger budget because Apple's got the money, whereas like say with the the recent Walking with Dinosaurs, they didn't have that much of a big budget, and so it's like they had a very limited budget, and also I think the stories just weren't there for this new one. Like, you can definitely tell they tried, but it's just that I think they just went for the cash grab because of the nostalgia and all that sorts of stuff. But yeah, but I think Dinosaur Empire could still happen. It's just that it might be maybe 3, 4, or even 5 years down in the future. I don't see it coming in 2026. I just don't see it. Like, because they would have to start filming right now and also get the CGI done probably by like July of next year. And that's not easy. And so filming a dinosaur documentary like that quickly, like, that's going to take a lot of time. And also if you're setting up a date and you have a date to actually get it out, like, that's also considering to be like rushing it. Like, the 2025 Walking with Dinosaurs was rushed. That was rushed. Whereas Prehistoric Planet did take its time. And I think that's why you need to let it take time. Like, I know everybody was anxious for a new dinosaur documentary. Like, I know that for sure. But since the 2025 Walking with Dinosaurs was a disappointment compared to the OG Walking with Dinosaurs, and then you actually have to think of the fact is that before this most recent movie of Jurassic World Rebirth, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion really disappointed a lot of people in the Jurassic franchise. And so, yeah. But yeah, I'd say Prehistoric Planet Prehistoric Planet Season 3 more likely happening. But I hope it actually does come out maybe say late 2026 or even early 2027. That's what I'm hoping for that. But even though, is David Attenborough going to come back? Is David Attenborough going to come back to narrate it? Because remember, he is 99 years old. He ain't getting any younger. So maybe BBC asked him if, like, hey, can you do it again? And I'm pretty sure he's like, look, I would love to, but I don't have that much time left, And that's kind of sad, is that, like, maybe they are looking for a replacement for David Attenborough, but it's not fully replacing him in terms of that, like, don't, like, lose, like, the iconic man that he is. But it's just that you want to get, like, somebody that is going to have like, that type of voice to actually showcase that it's like an actual nature documentary. And who do they get? Who do they get? That's going to be the question. I mean, I would throw out maybe Nigel Marven, but that's a big ask. Anyway, those are the questions I got for you today. Next week will be my 100th extra episode, and that'll be the review for Jurassic World Rebirth. And so stay tuned for that, because I do have some opinions of this movie. Some good, some things I considered to say, it's teetering on like it's fine, but could be better. And there's some things that I didn't like about the film either. But like, anyway, and I give my overall thoughts on the movie. And so stay tuned for that. Next week, Thursday, will be the review of Jurassic World Rebirth, so stay tuned for that. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs and other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts of Dinocris. Like the page, you should post your questions in the comments section. Please put them in the comments section. Don't put them on Messenger. Messengers are private conversations, so please put your questions in the comments section on any Facebook post. And also for YouTubers out there, link the videos, subscribe to the channel according to my analytics. So a lot of you guys are checking out my channel and not subscribed yet. So please feel free to hit the like button and also hit subscribe. And according to in how the YouTube algorithm works, the more likes the video gets, the more likely the video gets spread out to people that are interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also share the video, share the channel, tell anybody that is interested in dinosaurs, prehistoric life, paleontology, and geology in general. So please feel free to do so. And also for YouTubers out there, leave your questions in the comment section because I do read them all. All of you guys that are sending questions via email, Facebook, and YouTube. You guys are awesome. Give me some great questions for these Q&A episodes, so make sure you keep up the great work for that. And also hit the notification bell so that way you can get weekly notifications of every video that comes out. And also check out the posts on the post tab on my channel to look at the polls and also some updates on like videos and even some paleo news. And make sure you keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Instagram at down.chrispf. I post pretty cool stuff on there. You can also follow me on Threads. Same thing, at down.chrispf. I post pretty cool stuff on there as well. Also, take care of people around you. And also for your people out there, and make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. With a good education, you get a good job in the future. That's it for now. And I'll see you guys next time.